It looks like we're live. Hopefully it'll come through soon. Hello everyone and welcome to week 3 of Punished Sick. We're still not back in our humble abode, which is increasingly more annoying, but like the title says, we have yet to resort to cannibalism. I mean, only for the sake of fun and the fact that it's fucking boring here. I really want my stuff back. I've got some of my stuff. I've got enough stuff to keep me entertained enough, but fucking hell. Yeah. Hopefully, in the coming week, we shall have some progress. Apparently, someone is going to come and do something about the boiler, we think. But other than that, we're still stuck in temporary housing. We're still annoyed. It's still shit. But I'm a lot better set up. I don't know if you could tell from the video, but I had a lot more sort of time to do actual work on it, and ended up putting in a significant number of gags. Really pleased with that video, actually, which is weird because I've had like 3 or 4 comments today just telling me off for existing, which is also nice. But yeah, how are we doing today, chat? Because I'm getting knackered of this whole thing. I mean, so I'll tell you how I'm set up now. I ended up returning the hated laptop and taking the £100 kick in the nuts, which is not something I'm super happy with, but at the end of the day, I fucking hated that laptop. Mrs. Sick, you kind of wanted it because the noise didn't irritate the living shit out of you. But while I considered it, just out of sheer laziness and the fact
I'm used to having hand-me-down shit versions of things, so having a laptop that was just obviously loud is, to me, it's the same as having an old laptop.
It wasn't an old laptop.
I know
it would have been a hand-me-down.
I know.
It would have essentially been a brand new laptop.
I know, but it sounded like an old laptop, so I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, it was worth £1,000. It was not something you would have gotten the most out of, even close. And
no, I just watch PewDiePie on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to get you a new laptop. Don't get me wrong. But it needs to be one that doesn't make the sound it makes, because the sound it makes me want to kill everyone on the planet. I hate that fucking laptop. So I returned it. I got most of my money back, and ended up just buying a decent screen. Oh, does this mean that by next week you'll be craving for human flesh? I already crave human flesh. Babies, when prepared right, taste like veal. Nom nom. I've had veal.
I've never
Didn't
had veal.
fucking rate it.
Never
it
had
might
veal.
have been shit veal.
I don't know. Never had it. Never felt the need to have it.
It was just
I'm very picky with food anyway. So
I went to Italy on a skiing holiday with my brother, and it had to be like it was up the mountains, sure, but like Italy is so famous for its food. Like everyone in Italy is just like an amazing cook, even the shit ones. And we must have had the literal shittest one in all of Italy, because the food was mediocre at best and just bad at worst. So I was a little bit disappointed by that whole shtick. But yeah, veal. I've only had it once. Didn't particularly rate it. Might try it again. Gotta love that poor suffering baby pig meat. Nom nom.
it's not a pig.
Is it not?
It's a cow. It's a calf.
I must be thinking of something else.
Don't you like read stuff about veganism at all?
I've read some. Most of it I just ignore.
I read it because it's sort of like I want to know where they come from.
Oh, so. I think I need something to masturbate to. One of these poor cat.
Vegan porn.
No, more like slaughter porn. That's where I was going. Carf, not calf.
It's a calf. Calf is where you go get a cup of tea.
Calf. Well, they said Kath, like Catherine. Oh, the chat is so nice to you.
It's a calf.
Calf.
Fuck off.
eBay gum calf. Anyway, yeah. So I got my money back on the laptop. I then spent it on a screen because I've been thinking of getting a new screen for my setup as it is, because I've got this shitty little. It was a monitor that my dad gave me because his mate was leaving the country and had no use for it anymore, and I was like, I'll have a free screen, fuck it. And yeah, so that's been stuck to the side.
You've had it that long?
I've had it. Well, we got it since the last flat.
I've known you've had it for a while. I didn't think you've had it that long. That's a long time.
We've had it for over 5 years, significantly over 5 years, because it was your screen for like a long while.
I don't notice these things. As long as there's a screen in front of me, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I used to use this telly. We're back in the living room. I ummed and ahed about just streaming from my current setup, but the current setup is a floor seat and a floor desk type thing,
and also it echoes like hell.
Yeah, it's not perfect, although
and the neighbours had a go at us.
Well, that was another issue. We'll get into that in a bit, but just the fact that it's so much more comfortable streaming in here, and I thought, well, I wanted the VR is set up in here as well because there's nothing in here basically. So I thought, well, fuck it, I can at least make some use of the space. But I have to move the computer back and forth when I want to do whatever it is I want to do. But yeah, I don't think streaming in there would have been particularly comfortable. I really when we get back to the flat, to our proper house, when we get back to where we live, I am seriously tempted to look into like getting some lapel mics, and we can just sit and have a chat. Basically.
You do realise, like, I'll have it attached to me and I'll just wander off and I'll go shit and get it.
Well, no, you'll wander off and have a shit.
Oh, that's you. You shit like 15 times a day.
Come on.
And that one that you just left a present for me in there. And
13.
I walked into the hallway and I was like, holy mother of God.
No, you didn't. It crept into the bedroom with you. You've already forgotten. You went, what the hell is that smell? Did you just kill something?
Was that you?
Yeah. So, yeah, I really like streaming on a couch and being a little bit more comfortable, a little bit less formal. Considering how informal these streams already are, I think a little less formality would be even better. But yeah, so that setup is, it works, but fuck me, I cannot get comfortable. Kat, what are you doing?
She's been asleep all day, so she's hyper now.
Oh, great. Oh, the best thing with the cat here, we're on the first floor, which for those of you who don't know how floors work is the second story. And she doesn't know that. We opened one of the windows and she ran up to the window and went, wow! And I went, shit, and jumped at the window to close it because she was ready to jump. And I'm like, if she she thinks she's fucking just like this balletic, graceful creature that just, and she is the clumsiest little shit on the face of the planet. She would have shot straight out of that window down a significant distance. And while it probably wouldn't have done her that much harm, it would definitely have freaked her out, and we probably would have never seen her again because she has no idea where she is. God damn, that scared me. I mean, the first day we were here, she went under. We set everything up and we had your bed set up, and then I came back in and I was like, "Where's the cat? Where the fuck's the cat?" And I was running around the house like, "Where the fuck is the cat?" And I was like, I can't believe we've been here 5 goddamn minutes and the cat is gone. And then about an hour later, I just, Wow.
I love how you said we had your bed set up, like we sleep in separate beds.
I said the bed.
No, you said my bed.
Okay, whatever. I meant the bed. Or your bed, like, whatever. I don't care. Nitpicky. Anyway, yeah, she was just... I might have said it because she was under your pillow.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, why? Because she was absolutely terrified when we first moved in. It was adorable. It's the cutest she's been in a long time.
She was trying to get under the couch cushions.
She was trying to get under anything.
Yeah.
That smelled like us, especially.
She burrows when she's scared.
Although now the box that I moved the PC into has become a sort of a semi-home away from home for her, and a coffee table, which is quite convenient. But yeah, so not a huge amount has happened.
Thank you. You're a lot funnier than normal.
Thank you. I don't know how to take that.
You're not usually funny. It's like the kids, Daddy, you're not really fat.
You're not that fat, is the kid's catchphrase, and Cat fucking cut it out. You're not that fat, Daddy. I was like, oh, thanks. Yeah, I guess if you tried to roll me down a hill, you'd still have to do it sideways, but... Alright, the cat is being a complete bell ensign. There we go. I bought her a little beaver that you fill with catnip, and the catnip looks so much like weed. We're waiting for the person who's running our case to just walk in and see this weird little pot. It's catnip. I promise. I swear to God. Although I don't know what would happen to someone if they smoked catnip. I imagine that would be. I imagine someone's done it. I remember hearing stories of people, they would raid their herb cabinet just trying to smoke everything to see if it would get them high, because people are fucking ridiculous. Catnip is the same family as weed.
Yeah, it is.
Ah, I didn't know that. They must have interesting family get-togethers. Fucking catnip. Ugh. He's not a proper drug.
For some reason, it only affects felines.
I smoke cat. Nutmeg. You're
playing a dangerous game with nutmeg.
There was always a thing with nutmeg, in that there's an explosive you can apparently make with it. I don't know how true that is.
Kids at my school used to bring it and try to eat it. It's the powdered stuff. And then you have some of this, it'll get you high. So they're feeding people a teaspoon of nutmeg.
Why? I mean, to get high.
Yeah, but they paid them as well. It's like, give me £1 and you can have a spoon of nutmeg.
You can eat your cat before you resort to cannibalism, and even then you can eat placenta. Well, I hope there isn't a fucking placenta kicking about, because I could really do without another fucking kid right now.
Just walk outside, you might find one.
Yeah, onto the kids, and one of the many problems with this place being that it is a first floor flat, so we are both above and below someone, and the floors are not anywhere near as dense in our proper home.
The firehouse.
Yeah, in the firehouse, the floors are like a foot deep concrete. Here, there's a little bit of concrete and then like wooden shit.
Yeah.
They are very, very thin walls, and very, very thin walls comparatively speaking. So in the last place, when someone was having an argument, you'd have to have screaming and shouting, and if something would happen, like you'd have to throw something at the floor for it to make a noise. Here, the kids are being kids on a morning, and they get up at 6. And it usually wakes me up and I go, girls, be quiet, please. And I've been doing that every day.
They've always been morning people.
They're always morning people, and they always run and play and jump and shout and scream and sing. And mostly I was just annoyed for me, because it's a morning and I don't want to get up until at least 7. If I can get away with it, I'll get up at 12. But but I'm supposed to be an adult, so that's not really allowed. But Yeah. Was it yesterday? Maybe the day before?
Saturday.
The neighbour below caught you on your way home from something. He said,
He went, "Oh, which number are you at?" And he goes, "Are you the one above us?" And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "Kids making noise at 6 o'clock in the morning." Says it's keeping me awake. And I was like, I told them not to stamp around. I was like, "There's like I can't carry them everywhere. They're they're more than half my size." And I was just like, "What do you expect me to do about this?" Like type thing. And and he's like, "Are they in the back bedroom?" Because that's where we are. And he goes, "And I get woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning with banging and stuff like that." And he said it'd be nice if you could do something about it. So we had a really long talk with the girls. About them how annoying it is with the banging noises.
Well, we didn't couch it in being annoying. In that we couched it in that if you were asleep at night and then you're trying to sleep and you're like, "Oh, I'm tired," and then someone started smashing and banging and singing and la la la, how would you feel? And you went, sad. It's like, yeah. So basically, hopefully, I don't know. I didn't. To be fair though, they didn't really wake me up until about 7, which is unusual. So I think they did what we told them, which was to come into the living room and shut the fuck up. Not in those words, but essentially use your inside voices and be quiet.
Yeah, these are not our carpets. These were the carpets that they just thought are in the house, essentially.
Right.
And like most of them have underlay.
Oh right, yeah, we have underlay.
Most of the carpets have underlay, but their bedroom doesn't.
No, definitely not. But yeah, it's just an additional stress. It's just everything about this place is fucking stressful. I cannot wait to go home. Do I do cryptocurrencies? I do not.
They're very risky, I think.
I don't get them really. There's something. I'm not a gambling man, and I find them to be there's too much fluctuation. If they were like completely stable, then fine. I would be more interested in them. Temporary housing in an apartment/flat somewhere. I mean, that.
Yeah.
Bitcoin died. I mean, Bitcoin didn't die. It's quite interesting if you read. Like, if we're going to go off on a tangent, let's go off on a tangent. I was reading into it. Bitcoin didn't die. Bitcoin spiked ridiculously based on market manipulation, for the most part, and that market manipulation brought people like, "Oh, these are getting really valuable," so shitloads of people fucking bought graphics cards for a ridiculous amount of money, and so the market's like both flooded and the market is now flooded with cheap graphics cards, although the price isn't too bad. But this is the part. This is why I got interested in it, because I wanted to buy a graphics card, and they were all ridiculously expensive. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And but it was the prices raised not naturally. They were manipulated to go as high as they went, and then they came crashing down. I think eventually it will stable out, because the thing about most cryptocurrencies is they're designed to have an upper limit of how many there are. So unlike your sort of fiat currencies, where if you have a nation that then loses most of its money is then worthless. Cryptocurrency is valuable on its own. It's all very complicated, but ultimately none of them are stable enough for a person like me. But I do think that they could very well be the future. How do I feel about Article 13? I'm not fucking happy about it. I'll put it that way. I mean,
it's fine for artists. I can make my own memes.
Not really. because your art has to be scanned to make sure you're not stealing someone else's work.
This is what annoys me. If you came up with an idea from the top of your head, you know, which is common with me because I make some weird freaking shit sometimes, and yeah, and it just happens to sort of look like somebody else's thing. That's
not actually the issue. The real issue is what I said about scanning it for. It could get to the point where, unless you are an established artist already, unless you are already established, unless you're already a big content creator, unless you're already this, that, the other, they might not bother letting you put stuff up anymore because you, as some rando, are not worth the risk. And that's
so you can't
one
even,
of the big issues.
You can't even get yourself built up into that position.
This is, I'm not saying that this is definitely a fact, but this is one of the things that could happen.
So people are coming into it trying to get well known as an artist. Get out the freaking box. Trying to get well known as an artist, is that basically saying like they're going, oh no, we have to basically look through all your artwork and make sure it doesn't kind of look like somebody else's now, just in case.
Well, everything that ever gets uploaded will have to be scanned by something, and maybe even
get out of the box, you shit. Out.
Can you just stop, cat? No. I don't want you to go back in the fucking box because you keep making noise. I was trying to close it. Come here. Right. Go away. Now I close the box. And I have no way to keep the box closed. Brilliant. God damn it. Apologies.
That's it. Like, if you're already a well-known artist, so like someone who is pretty substantial, already built up a business, got portfolios and shit online and everything like that, then you're relatively safe.
No. Like I said, this is a possibility. One of the things someone else was saying about one of the things, I think it's Article 11, is the link tax, which is anybody who posts something from somewhere else has to pay them for it, which is a thing that
what do you mean, like
baffles me.
You like retweet something on Twitter?
I mean, like taking a news article and saying, here's a news article, I'm going to post a link to it, and you have to pay for it for some fucking reason that I cannot wrap my head around.
Oh, you shouldn't, like...
Basically, hey, you see these social media platforms, which are the way most people get news? Let's make it so no one posts news to your fucking website, so your websites will die.
So this is
brilliant.
This is basically making it easier for corporations to go, you need to come back to watching TV and going on newspaper websites.
There is an element of that seems to be
at least going back to newspapers.
There does seem to be a big element of it's an attempt to bring back control to old media in some sense.
Fuck off. Things need to change. Come on.
Yeah.
If you can see that your platform is dying and that you're not getting the numbers you used to get, then what you need to do is get with the times and do something that is linked.
Well, it's the classic. It's the Blockbuster thing. It's like Blockbuster Video had an opportunity to buy Netflix. Would have been the best thing it ever did. Instead, what it did was die. And there's a theory going around that Blockbuster Video must have wanted to die because every single one of its fucking decisions was based on people will if someone can sit in their bedroom and press one button and have all the films, or they can get up, go outside, get in their car, drive 5 miles down the road, walk into a shop that probably doesn't have the film they want to watch, get something that they didn't really want to watch because they're already fucking there, pay £5 for the privilege and then get back in their car, go home. And if they forget to bring it back, we'll charge them extra. It's a wonder Netflix did so much better than they did. Fuck me.
Thing though, like, people don't want to be leaving their houses all the time. We want things quite instant. It's what internet is, though. Convenience. Yeah, people want things now. People are getting more and more impatient with things.
Yeah, but my point is that, thank you. Shut up, phone. My point is, Blockbuster died because they didn't adapt, and they didn't seem to understand why. And I think a lot of stuff is just going to die. And even regardless, the Illuminati are not with Trump. That's Hydra.
Oh, love film. My auntie and uncle, before it got sold, they knew the guy who made Love Film.
He's like ridiculously
rich. They made
a
big song and dance about how amazing they knew this rich guy. And
he doesn't talk to them anymore, does he?
No, he doesn't talk to them. They went over to a house, and he's got like different Ferraris and everything. They took pictures with him and everything like that, and making a really big deal like they knew a famous person. And then he sold it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they didn't want to be friends with him anymore. And I'm like, God, my freaking family are just shallow.
Wouldn't he be really, really rich?
He's still really rich, but
but like way richer now.
They say basically he doesn't really have to work anymore.
Of course not.
And they don't want to be involved with people who are not earning their way.
He did earn his way. No. Anyway,
my family's weird.
Anyway. I'm sure. Do you know what? That's probably just an excuse. He probably went, do you know what? You keep asking me to lend you some money, and I'm kind of sick of it. And they're like, oh yeah, we stopped talking to him because he doesn't earn his way. Yeah, that's it. It's not that he thinks that we're a bunch of cunts.
My uncle is very egotistical, and it'd probably harm his ego too much to admit that he was the bad guy.
Yeah, but there's going with Article 13 and that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, Google hates Article 13 because people will not go to Google if every time they click on a link they have to pay something.
Well, there's going to be an issue. I think it's going to be one of those things that gets to a certain point, and as it gets closer and closer, I think something will probably happen to make it not happen, or not happen in as bad a way as it's trying to be. But even if it does, essentially, shortly after it kicks in and everyone realizes how fucked up it is,
right.
After everyone realizes how fucked up it is, people will find out about VPNs, and they'll all just, okay, I'm spending £20 a month on my internet. Or even internet service providers might start giving people VPNs because fuck it. And Europe suddenly is empty of all internet users except for a couple of businesses. And they're going to be like, whoa, wait, this has done literally nothing. No one's getting paid for it. We've just got essentially no customers in Europe. Nobody, I don't know what impact it would have on Europe in general. I guess in a lot of the shopping stuff, it would be kind of fucked. But like a good percentage of people, myself included, will just start using VPNs, because I'm not going to stop making videos just because Europe doesn't know how the internet works. I don't know. Anyway,
the only thing I can think that's going to happen with Article 13 is two things. Either people go, fine, we obviously lost, we're going to have to accept it, and then accept a tax or whatever they decide to place on things. Or people go, no, fuck you, and then just don't click on any links. Well, it won't work.
The internet's going to internet, and, how many times have they tried to shut down Pirate Bay? Pirate Bay is still fucking there.
They're just going to,
they're going to find a way around.
People are going to find a way around it. Like, you go to someone who doesn't cite links then.
Yeah.
Who still talks, who's willing to pay the tax for things, and then they'll just talk about the issues that they've read about on news-based stuff, and people will go to that person so they don't have to pay for the link. That's what's going to happen.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. it's something that I just don't know enough about. And I think the problem is that the people who are voting on this, the ultimate crux, the real fucking problem is the people who are voting on it have no fucking idea what they're talking about. Like, if you discussed any of this shit with them, they'd be like,
No,
but it's a good thing because I was told to say it was a good
they've
thing.
got, it's old men's club, a thing, isn't it? Again, like, oh, my friend's with this friend, and I know somebody who works in media, and then this and this and that, and then this company's connected to this company, and we're all good friends. And it's like, we need to keep, we still want money for doing hardly any work. So let's try and push for articles because we know somebody in government or whatever. And it's an old men's club thing. They're trying to keep things the same because they like their lifestyle the way it is. And that's all. They don't care about progressing and going with the times and learning how to adapt. They don't care about that. All they care about is lining their own pockets.
I bet the clock on their VCRs is flashing 12 o'clock. Almost certainly. Oh my God, I haven't seen a VCR like that in ages. A Vusler. Anyway, yeah, I'm not. I don't know what's going to happen, and I hope it doesn't fucking go really badly. But
I rarely go onto news things anyway. Most of the time, it's just like my family go, "Oh, have you heard this happened? Or there's a crash here, or this happened here," and I'm like, "Oh, really? Okay." I don't know. I just watch PewDiePie.
Yeah. But I know for a fact that the internet is going to internet, and whatever they put in place, people like me will be able to skirt around it, regardless of what they do. I'm late. What's going on? I'm so confused.
They'll always find a loophole for things.
Article 13, mate. Yeah.
Whatever you establish, people will go, fine, let's do this and do this and do this.
But especially with the internet.
They'll make links that bypass things, and so you don't even get the tax if there is a tax related to it. There'll be 1,000, like, people are clever, like, internet people are really clever.
Hugo, stop talking in all caps, for the love of Christ. It makes you sound, to me, every time I read one, I read it like, I can't remember the name of the character, but
my sister's
dog.
My sister's dog.
I'm what I meant humans. It comes off as really, really weird.
My sister's dog's called Hugo.
Your sister's is your sister's dog still an asshole?
She's actually training it really well. I'm quite impressed
Shocking, considering how our cats are.
She sends me weird messages though, like, "Oh, we've infiltrated a French bulldog convention today."
Infiltrated? Did you pay the entrance fee and walk in?
No, it was like a meet-up thing in a park, and because we got rused after half an hour, and I'm like, "Well, yeah, you don't have a French bulldog."
They went, "Wait a minute, that's a child." That's a child dressed up as a French bulldog. Damn it. I've been snaffled. But yeah. And thank you for stopping using caps, Hugo. Yeah. So it's been, it has been a hell of a 3 weeks so far. I don't think I'll ever get too settled in this place because I don't like it here. I don't like where it is. Even though it's just around the corner, it's amazing how different places are. Like, where we used to live was pretty grotty. And, like, a street away, there were really, really nice houses. Like, just a really...
Oh, you mean first one we moved into?
Before we came to this area.
Little frigging shits threw paint all over the door because we told them to stop hanging outside our front door.
Oh God, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
God, we had this basically where we lived before we had kids. The front door was.
We used to try and get in as well, like rattling handle and everything. Frigging little shit.
Well, not just that, but it was one of these places. It was facing a wall of a building, and so it was really sort of isolated. Was the front door it was us, and there was
sorry, I didn't mean to vape in your face, cat.
There was a door next to us which was upstairs. It was was a 2-floor dealie, but because it was so sort of out the way, kids used to like hang out of it, and I used to have to tell them to fuck off all the goddamn time. Half the time they'd fuck off, and then they come almost immediately back. Eventually, just have to call the police.
Yeah, it's just a massive.
That was the place that we were there for 3 days, and someone tried to fucking break in, which is where I had to chase them down the street, start bullet naked. Didn't happen again. But yeah, they these little shit poured paint.
It was just like a DOS spot or something. There was loads of kids, and they used to just hang around all the time. And I never understood it, because I never did it as a kid. I don't go sitting around in the cold.
Should have bought one of those machines that makes one of those really irritating noises that we can't hear because we're too old.
Didn't you want to get like a laser pen so you shine it at them across the street?
No.
Was that me?
What would be the point? I mean, if it was attached to the top of a high-powered rifle, then maybe. But yeah, that wasn't a great place to live. I mean, we were there for 4 years, and I mean, you were never happy there. And there was a flood. We had this flood about a year and a half into living there, and because we didn't.
Oh God, that guy upstairs was such an idiot.
He was nice enough, but he was a fucking moron. And then he was replaced with a cunt.
Yeah, like a water pipe broke under his sink, and we were like, "Turn your electrics off, mate." Thinking like
he was sat in his living room just watching TV.
There was water going everywhere. I went, "You need to turn your electrics off." And he thinking like, "Oh, he's going to go to his trick box like a normal person." And then he goes into his living room and turns the heater off.
Oh, fuck. I'd forgotten about all of that shit. Yeah, and we ended up bailing out his house because he was too much of a thick, lazy twat to do any of that kind of shit. And then a few weeks after that, we started getting mushrooms growing in our ceiling. You know, we're a set of fucking idiots, and this is the first time we've sort of lived together and never had any real fucking issues. And there's no one nearby to really help us out. And this was not long after, living in this place was shortly after the homelessness time I had. And so there's a big part of me that's like scared to ask anyone for help. So I ended up, for a while, I just kept chopping these fucking mushrooms down off the ceiling. It was fucking ridiculous. Listen, look, kids. Anybody who's young listening to me now, don't try and do stuff on your own. If you don't get it, no one is out to fucking get you 99% of the time. Ask people for help if there's an issue that is a big problem, because it only becomes a bigger problem if you don't know how to deal with it. I kind of fixed the problem by bleaching the fucking house. That is not the solution to the problem.
And I wasn't allowed in the house for like several hours afterwards because of my asthma.
Yeah. It was fucking stupid. I had to repaint the kitchen. All because I was too fucking scared of what might happen if I told someone what had happened. A thing that was not our fault. Let's be fair. This was not something that we did, but because we didn't immediately report it because we didn't know what would happen, it's don't let fear of consequences that probably won't happen make your life worse. And it definitely made our life significantly worse than it had to be, because our kitchen was essentially unusable. I fucking hated that kitchen with a passion. And it's so stupid. Lesson learned. We're much, much, much better at living in a house. As stupid as that sounds, we're not as messy.
It was the first house that flat. It was the first time I moved out of my parents.
Yeah, it was the first time you didn't live with a parent.
Yeah.
I mean, you've never lived alone.
No, I've never lived on my own. I've always had someone with me.
That was the second time I'd lived alone, and it was ever so slightly better than the first time I lived alone. Oh my fucking God, I should not have lived alone. But it's one of those things. It's too easy to think that you can do it on your own and you shouldn't ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. In fact, you're just going to make your life infinitely harder if you don't. And even if you've done something really stupid, even if people are like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, why did you do that?" At least after that, the problem will get dealt with. Whereas no one can know, you can do something really stupid and you can end up leaving your house in a state and no one knows what a fuck up you are, but you still live in a house that's a fucking state. And it's stupid. It's ridiculous. And don't do that to yourself. For the love of God, do not do that to yourself. Because, oh my God, the amount of mistakes that I would just not make. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but just something.
That's what you usually do, though.
Yeah, but this was a PSA tangent.
Advice from Sick.
Yeah,
life
but
advice.
That's the thing, when you first move in it. This is one of my major problems. Dumb question: why is English mains vaulted so high? I don't fucking know. I wish it wasn't. My house wouldn't have been on fire. I literally don't know. You're probably better off asking Google than me. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm well stupider than Google am, but yes. I'm a smart fuck up. I ask for help for stuff. Yeah. If you fuck something up, don't let the fear of being judged make you have a shit few years of your life. Because I did that in my first place. We did that in our second place, and it was stupid.
Oh, my Sick. Back in my day.
It's not back in my day. This is my day now. Back in my day will be in 30 years' time when I say, back in my day, we used to share memes about penises.
I used to make penis jokes on the internet and get paid for it.
Now I'm in jail. Because I said penis joke when I was having a cough. Yeah. 240 volt for better natural selection. Yeah, I don't actually know that much about what watts and volts and all that shit actually means in terms of what's a really high amount and what's not, but I know that mains is scary and don't play with it because you will dead. It's because we have less power stations for cities. So what we do is we increase the current to help flow AC current to reach other homes, which are farther away. Farther away. This means that the voltage is higher. Oh, fuck that. I'm just going to stick a knife in.
His accent won't change. How long have you been up here now? You've been up here since you're like
I've
19?
lived, yeah. So nearly 15 years at this point.
Yeah, and it hasn't changed.
And even, it's so funny.
It annoys you as well, because I do the same thing. You'll say words like...
I will intentionally say a word.
That sound Yorkshire. And then you say, no, I'm doing it on purpose.
Someone said something funny. So I went, funny. Because I like the way northern people say funny. But the way I say funny is funny. So I was going, funny. I was clearly, very blatantly in my mind, making...
Like you like bastard as well.
Oh, you bastard. If I was to call someone a bastard, I'd call them a bastard. That's how I say bastard. But you bastard is so much... It's like a separate word to me, and funny is like a separate word to me. But my fucking family they were just like, ha, 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 you're getting the accent. Ha, ha, ha. Like proper dickheads about it. And like, dude, I was making a joke. For fuck's sake, calm down. No, you've got the accent. I was like, oh my God, are you fucking children? Oh, and that's why I killed them all. No, not true.
That's why you got dark to him.
Barely. Just very, very annoying people. Whoops, caps. Right. I'm going to make you entertain them for a minute because I need a quick slash.
For fuck's sake.
I'm not going to stink the house out, so there's that.
Yorkshire people always sound like they're gonna cook you a Sunday roast. It's from someone called Pork Pork. I get told that my accent's weird sometimes because my accent's not particularly strong compared to other people because I've got a mixture of different dialects because I moved to different cities when I was a kid. So people can't really tell what city in Yorkshire I'm from because I've got various different ones put together. You pronounce hard consonants or R sounds. Yeah. The way I've always seen it is it's the vowel sounds that are different. And we don't say T's. And what else would we say? I can't remember now. H's. It's not a proper H sound. Like I say house instead of house. So yeah. The more time I spend with sick, the more I do pronounce my H's though. I make vowel sounds, yes. Fuck's sake. I'm not saying what city I'm from. You can have a guess. Most people guess.
What you talking about? Another fun thing about this location is almost every single night.
Yeah, I say herb instead of herb.
Say herb.
Herb. Oh, herb. I've been saying like I say my H's more since I've been with you.
Yeah, because I'm teaching you to talk right
I
good
say,
like
like,
I does.
I want to learn herbalism.
Herbalism.
Yeah, I want to learn herbalism. It's like an extra.
It's
so
not even an extra. It's just herbalism.
It is. I have to actually put effort into making a H sound. So
it's put effort into talking properly.
It doesn't go. It doesn't go. My accent doesn't allow for me to make proper pronunciations of things.
But yeah,
you will dead. Lol. Thanks, Charles.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Kiss, kiss.
Every single night. Like... Every single night, there's a fucking car alarm that seems to go off, which is always fun.
Yogurt.
Yogurt.
People making me say words again.
Yeah. One of the fun things I've had to do here is go against one of the things I said I'd never do, which is interact with the company 3 Mobile ever again. Because, well, I'll tell you the tale. This was in the previous flat as well. When we got together, you had a bit of cash. And you wanted a laptop, and you were like jumping on my dick and remained jumping on my dick for a long while, so it worked out okay.
It's not yogurt. It's yogurt.
So you helped me get a contract for a dongle with mobile data.
Yeah, I remember
and a laptop. I'm not actually telling you the fucking story. I don't know if you've noticed this, but we're actually streaming, dickhead. Anyway, so yeah, I got the got a laptop, which was an okay laptop. And it was a 2-year contract for about £40 a month. It wasn't really a bad deal to have something that I could work on. You know, I could get some shit done, and we had internet as well. in a sort of portable form factor, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And yeah, but after the contract ended, we were like, right, we're going to move on to a proper internet provider now. And so we phone up 3 and say, hi, yeah, can you cut off? Can you cut off our internet? We're done with the contract and we don't want to continue it. And they're like, yeah, of course, sure, yeah, definitely. Next month, they're taking 40 quid out of the bank. We're not fucking paying for the laptop anymore, and the deal you do for 15 gigabyte of data is like £15 at this point in time. So you've literally taken £25 of us for nothing. So as far as I'm concerned, they stole that money.
As far as I can remember as well.
Said, what the fuck? And they said, oh, we're so sorry. We'll definitely cut it off this time. I said, am I going to get my money back? Lol, no. I'm like, well, as long as you cut it off, because we were fucking poor then. Like, oh my God, poor. And yeah, and so another month goes past and they take out another fucking 40 quid. And I'm like, motherfucker, what the fuck is wrong with you? And eventually, instead of, because these slimy little fuckers, they're like, they can't just give you their money back. They have to give you a service in exchange for it. So we got this fucking 500 megabytes a month for 8 months thing that we still have to cancel at the end. And I was like, do you know what? Fine. As long as you're not taking £40 a month off of me, I'm okay with that. Next month, another fucking £40 out of my cunting bank account. And I was goddamn incensed.
I don't know if I remember this correctly. I remember phoning the mob and they said that it could possibly be a cancellation fee. No. And I was like, how could it be a cancellation fee?
It wasn't a cancellation fee.
Yeah, but I said to him, how could it be a cancellation fee if I finished the contract?
Yeah.
Then they were like, oh, okay. And they didn't really know what to say to it. And I'm like, you fucked up and you're just like not meant, like, This is what you get when you're not dealing with different departments.
We're 120 quid in the hole for this fucking thing. And eventually what sorted it out, and this is what got me onto Twitter, was I contacted their Twitter team. About 5 cunting minutes later, they didn't give us the fucking money back because God no, can't give people their money back. So 3 have stolen 120 quid off me at this point, when that was a ridiculous amount of money to me. Now it's like a real losing 100 and odd quid is a kick in the dick. Then it was like, oh, and we kind of didn't eat as much for a while. I mean, I kind of missed that in some sense.
Yeah, we figured out that later on that you can stop transactions at your bank. We didn't know that.
Oh, that's the other thing. Because they wouldn't stop taking our fucking money, I called my mum and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And she said, cancel the transaction. And so that's what I did. And because we cancelled the transaction, we couldn't get the money back after that.
Yeah.
But that's a really fair thing to do, is to make it so they can't keep stealing your money. So as you can tell from my irate tone that I clearly haven't fucking gotten over it. I fucking hate 3 Mobile. They are the worst goddamn pieces of human garbage in fucking history and do not know how to not steal my money. I fucking hate them. And yet they are the only fucking company that does a mobile data plan with a reasonable, useful amount of fucking data. So I've ended up buying one of the fucking SIM cards. Now, there is no goddamn way I'm giving them any of my fucking banking information. But I've spent £35 because we did get a gift gaff at first because they have this unlimited plan, which seemed like a really great idea at first. It was like, you get 20 gigabytes and then you get always on, which in my stupid mind, not not braining it properly, I read it as between 8 p.m. and 12 midnight, the data is decreased to 400 kilobytes a second. And I was like, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah.
This is one of the things, right? Because when you mentioned that, I thought it sounded really fucking weird. Like it didn't make sense that they would do that, but I trusted you.
Anyway, I mean, it's kind of irrelevant, but I was like, 400 KB, that was half of our internet speed back in the day, and it was perfectly usable back then. Stupid me. Turns out it was 8 a.m. till 12, and we've got this thing, and it's fucking unusable. One of us can use the internet to like browse Google and do Twitter, but watching anything was fucking out the window.
I tried to watch a PewDiePie video, and I put it down to the lowest setting on YouTube.
144p.
Yeah, and I waited like 15 minutes for it to buffer.
The stupid thing is,
it buffered like 2 minutes into the video.
The stupid thing is, 144, and it's kilobytes a second. It is actually not kilobits a second. It was kilobytes a second, and that should be fast enough to watch something at a reasonable quality. But for some fucking reason, it just does not goddamn work. So that was 25 quid in the hole, and I was looking through someone with reasonable internet. And the only one who has a high enough cap before they start wondering what's going on, and it is like genuinely good, is 3, which is 1,000 gigabytes for 35 quid. And it basically means that I don't have to set up a contract here. And this is on a pay-as-you-go SIM, so I'm not. And I bought a voucher. I am not giving them my fucking banking details because I know that they're just going to go in and go, yeah, we've decided to take £1,000 out of your bank account because we're 3 and that's what we do. And we get away with it too. Fuck you. That's what I think this company is going to do. And the more annoying stuff is they actually do things that make sense, that giffgaff, who I think is a pretty decent company, but they do things better than giffgaff does. One of them, which is, if you buy credit with giffgaff, if you put it on your device, it will then use up some of that money to go on the internet when you're trying to set up a goodie bag, as they call it. And so you want to buy the £25 one, and you've put a £25 voucher on. It's used up 3 pence worth of data. So now you have to buy another £5 voucher because it's used it up. Whereas 3, when you do it, it says, do you want to put this on as cash, or do you want to put it on as one of these plans? And it's annoying that a company which I still ostensibly fucking hate can do things better than a company I quite like. But ultimately, it's the only way we can do this. The really annoying part is this has got faster upload speed than my fucking cable internet at home. That pisses me off something fierce, especially considering that they want like a minimum of 150, like up to £300 to get like a decent upload speed, which is to have a line into the house.
How the fuck did you survive without internet until you were 17?
Who the fuck? Who's this crazy person? And how old was 17? Were you 17 in 1995? Are you being sneaky? Is that it? To be fair, I didn't have internet. I didn't have my own internet properly until we got that 3 dongle.
We had internet at home. We had a family computer, which everybody used. And we had dial-up on it. But
fun times.
My mum didn't let any of the kids go on the internet. It was basically for work. Because she only ever used it for emailing, essentially. And and it was just sort of like, that's the first experiences I've had with it. And then when I went to my friend's house, and they had dial-up as well and everything, but they were allowed on the internet, and they were showing me like things on the internet, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing, and like AOL and shit.
Mocking Monica is load balance when you use both things at the same time, because I have literally considered that now. Because it would actually be a significant upgrade to my speed without a downgrade. I wouldn't even have to buy the really expensive one, because all I want it for is streaming.
Well, we didn't get it right away for one thing. I turned 17 in 1999.
Okay, I mean that's really normal.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. We had some semblance of internet on and off. Like, I remember I had my PlayStation 1, and I bought what was called a password card, which, for those of you who are really little, you may have heard of Action Replay or Game Genie, or something like that. This was a knockoff.
Yeah, teletext. That's what I used to use.
Oh, teletext was fucking amazing.
To play games on that.
But I bought this password card thing, which was a knockoff version of these two things, and actually worked with both sets of codes. It was fucking awesome, and it also did some other stuff.
Look, I first used the internet when I was 10 in 1974.
Fuck me.
Like, dude, you must have been like really high class back then. Not many people would have had the internet.
I assume he was, well, if he was 10. Like, did you have family that worked in? Either you had family that worked somewhere, or you had some uni family, like an older brother in university or something, and they used like the extranet and stuff like that. But my where I was going with this is to get the codes, the cheat codes, which were like series of 10 digits with a dash and then another 10 digits or something like that, to get cheats for your games. Oh god, I really want to go on a tangent about when I stopped cheating in video games, when I stopped sucking. But yeah, and you'd have this website, you'd go to datel.com or whatever, and because of how the internet worked back then, which it doesn't really do anymore, but when you went to a web page, it would save it to your computer. So any of the ones that you'd been to previously, you could explore as if you were online, because everything downloaded to your computer, which seems insane now.
I vaguely remember something about that.
Yeah, it seems completely fucking insane now, considering. I mean, here's part of the thing with us having 20 gigabyte of data and then on to the slower speed. It took Mrs. Sick half a day. And this is not me having a go at her. I thought this would be fine because I'm stupid. But she watched like 2 Netflix episodes of things, and it was gone.
No, I watched 40 minutes of one episode of Daredevil.
Yeah.
And then I watched like 20 minutes into an episode of Daredevil. And then I stopped watching it, and it stopped. Yeah.
And so
like when I was watching it before,
imagine if all that saved to your computer.
It was like 2.4 gig for one episode of Daredevil or something. When we first got the 25 goodie bag thing. It
was more than that. It was like 5 gig.
Well, it was on like really high quality though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, we have the 4K package, and it will try and use that. I mean, thankfully, stupid thing. If we've got Shield TV, the Shield TV does not let you change the quality settings on Netflix, which is stupid. That is a bad idea. So if you have limited internet, do not watch Netflix on a device other than a PC, because you won't be able to change the fucking settings. And it's quite hard to change the settings, quite unintuitive to get to it. But
will you remember like what was the first, apart from teletext, what was like the first console you had?
It depends what you call a console, because technically a Commodore is a console.
Well, what did you play games on?
The first thing I ever played games on would probably have been a Commodore 64. or a PC. I can't really remember.
Because I have a very vague memory of me and my sister sat with this massive keyboard over our laps, like both of us.
Was the keyboard the machine itself?
And it was huge.
Yeah, it was. The keyboard was the machine.
Yeah. And then that didn't last very long. And then my dad got a Mega Drive. And then we played Road Rash a lot on that.
Do you know what? The jump from these sort of half home computer, half video game console machines.
Yeah, people say Atari as well.
Yeah. To an actual, again, a machine that had a decent controller and not this horrible, even at the time, even when you first played on one of these machines, the controllers were awful. But then the NES, or NES or NES, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Spectrum, something like that. We had one of them.
Yeah, the NES, the Master System, if you're European, because apparently the Americans, the Master System, half of them have no fucking idea what that is, which baffled me. And then the Mega Drive and the SNES, that just these really decent controllers.
What's Famicom? Not really heard that one.
Famicom is the Japanese version of the NES.
Oh, right, okay.
And the Super Famicom is the Super NES.
Yeah.
Or the Super Nintendo. Who misses the days where every single console or machine was just called the Nintendo, and now every single machine is the PlayStation? Although last generation, everything was an Xbox because the Xbox took off.
That's what my mum does. She goes, "If you played it on your Xbox thing," I went, "Mum, it's a computer, not an Xbox."
It's an actual PC. You know what a PC is, mother, for fuck's sake. Yeah. I do have such nostalgia for that. I've been looking. There's a because I've got the VR shit. There's an app you can get for it that is like a virtual bedroom. And it's got a bunch of emulators in it. And basically, it's like a CRT TV in this VR space. And you sit down in front of it. Excuse me. You can actually pick up the discs and the cartridges that you've installed in the game. You can put up your own posters on the wall and then sit and play games on a whatever. And that looks... Ew, Sega.
Yeah, I had a Mega Drive. That's the one. Was that the one I had?
Mega Drive, was it black and had a sort of boomerang-esque controller?
Yeah.
Yeah, or a Batman symbol-esque controller.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't have any consoles for such a long time until I can't remember how old I was. The first console I ever had was a Game Boy. And fuck me, I loved my Game Boy to pieces. I don't know whatever happened to it, but I had all the fucking peripherals. I had this battery pack that, I mean, if you've seen an original, what they call a DMG Game Boy now, because I've looked into it, the original big brick bastard that you had Tetris with it, Game Boy, and I got this battery pack thing. That this giant brick already, and it made the back sort of stick out at an angle, almost like a stand. You could like pop it up and it would stand up. It was ridiculous. And I had this other gear that you clipped this thing onto the front. It had a magnifier that just was so stupid. A pair of speakers, giant fucking buttons, and a control stick. And these all just sat above the controls of the original device and sort of messily mushed into it. And it's the sort of thing that you think is a really good idea until you try to use it, and it's fucking awful. I had all that shit, and I know now that my mum actually bought this. Originally bought the set off of her boss, who had bought it as a gift for their kid. But for reasons that I can't remember, that didn't go through. So I didn't even have like a European console. But that was the best thing about the Game Boy. It didn't matter where you got one from; they were all the same, and they didn't have fucking stupid region lockouts. But this one was better because I had the 50 game cartridge, which had all of it was in Chinese or Mandarin, whatever you want to call it. So I didn't know what any of the games were called, but it had Super Mario Land on it. It had Mario Tennis. It had Dr. Mario. Before that game came out in England, like I had a number of games that weren't even out yet. And then I saw it come out and going, yeah, this game, it's so brand new. It's all great. And I'm like, I was playing that like 4 months ago. It just had all of this stuff on it. It had this, I think it was a Gundam Wing game. And it was, I used to play it. And
did you have the magnifying glass on it as
well? Yeah, that was one of the peripherals I had. It had the magnifying glass and a light.
Boy.
It seemed like a good idea. It was garbage. But yeah, I had this game and I did not understand. This is a thing, and I see it in the kids now, is information that you don't understand, but you just brute force your way through things.
Yeah,
and
that's definitely the kids.
I would not do that anymore because like they play a reasonable amount of Minecraft, and they know more about Minecraft now than I ever have because they just do things random shit.
Do everything possible. They put things in other things and things that you wouldn't think go together. And
because we played quite a lot of Minecraft when it first came out because we're pretty into it. It's a fun thing to play with someone that you like, and you can sort of be quite creative with it. But with all the new stuff that's come out, we've sort of lost interest generally. But just watching them, I was like, oh, apparently you can get a cauldron and you can fill it up with potions. Like at first it was just water, but if you pour potions into it, it now functions. And if you stand near it, it will give you the effect of the potion. And I'm like, ha. And they didn't look this up because they wouldn't look this up. They don't really know how to Google. That's not something that they've quite gotten their heads around yet.
Well, we don't really. Like they play Roblox and that's about it.
Yeah. So they just figured this out by brute forcing it. But where I was going with that, I had this game that was robots fighting each other. I assume it was Gundam Wing related, but again, I don't know. It was all in Mandarin. So, but you'd start a fight, and there'd be a guy in front of you, and you'd hit him as much as you can, and then if you press select, it would come up with this menu that was like 10 different options, and I did not know what any of them mean. But I knew if you went 3 down and clicked on that one, it transformed you, which also gave you all of your health back. And then I could fight a bit more and win. And I could do that for about 3 fights, and then I wouldn't win anymore because I had no fucking idea what I was doing. But it's that kind of stuff that you do as a kid when you brute force things that you don't understand. And it's kind of wonderful to watch my kids do it in a way. And that's why I've given them access to a computer that they can just go to town on, because I used to spend so much time.
Even now, they play Animal Crossing on the DS, and even though they can read some things,
they can read
certain.
They don't because they're lazy.
Certain words they just don't understand. Rather than trying to read it, even though I know they could read it, they'll just go and carry on.
Let's be fair, though. We've all done that. Constantinople. Fuck's that? Sounds like Istanbul. We've all done that. The word that we've seen that we don't know the meaning of, and we don't know how to say it. So we say it really, really fast. And then someone says it to us, and we go, oh, what's that word? And then we go, oh, blah, blah, blah. And like, you'll look at them and go, oh, it's that word. Now, do I tell them that I've been... No, don't admit your faults. Words in a game is boring. Again, that's almost entirely about words. The chat has stopped because we are all on emulators playing old games. Istanbul is Constantinople. Yes, that was the joke. But yeah, Like I do get some major nostalgia, but actually talking of nostalgia and VR, I have to say, and I may have said it in the stream before, I probably have, but VR has been something that has reignited sort of a passion for playing like new stuff, because it's such a leap that it if you have the chance to fuck about with some VR stuff, do it, and don't play roller coasters because they'll just make you feel sick. Play an actual decent game. But yeah. Oh, Mr. Sick is running away, and I don't know why. And I've run out of drink, so I can't get to run away either. So Patrick Moore was the game master. He was the game master, and I remember him giving some advice to someone, and this was again back to my 50 game cartridge and Super Mario World, or Super Mario Land, and I remember getting the tip that you can sprint in that game, which we didn't know at the time, and it was that you sprint across this bunch of blocks to get a particular mushroom or something, and I was like, oh my god, mind blown. Have you seen the Flatheart video yet? Very funny. No, I haven't. Have you? If you are talking about my one, thank you. I do. I'm bothered about that video actually, because as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't get funny until about 5 minutes in. I mean, there's a certain amount of VR pub simulator required. There is a VR sports bar simulator, which I have, which costs about £4, which is the most fun game in it. It's got bowling, it has table hockey, it has snooker, which is pretty good. It's like, I'm shit at snooker, but it feels pretty legit, and I'd like to play it with someone. But the most fun I had with it is this stupid puzzle game, which involves exploring the bar, looking for glowing blocks, to then... The fun part of it is looking for the blocks, and I don't know why I find that fun. Maybe because I just like mooching about. Oh, the other fun thing is the fact that you can pick up the jukebox and throw it at the bar staff, which I may have done a number of times. There was a game show where David Williams used to run around naked holding a flower pot in front of his bits. Anyone remember the show? Thinking of which, why do people call Burma Myanmar and its capital Yangon? It's Rangoon. Okay. Bar fights minigame. Yeah. Hey, Sick, what about that cooking game of yours, but VR? Cooking game of mine? Are you talking about... Did me and Mrs. Sick play Overcooked together on stream? I cannot remember. I think we might have. I was probably drunk. Sick drunk enough to give me a wrench yet? No. And Mrs. Sick has run away, so I can't go and get a drink without leaving you all in the dead silence of not having my voice, which is just a fate worse than death. But I'm going to go get myself a drink. Oh no, she might be coming back now. So I'll leave you with her if she comes back in here, which isn't guaranteed. But I know that there are... I mean, there's Job Simulator, which does have a certain amount of making food, but it's not quite... it's not quite really making food. It's quite fun to watch people play that game and see what they did. We actually had the kids play that, which was really interesting to watch them walk around the room and being terrified that they were going to just trip over themselves and hurt themselves. But they were quite capable at it. And how quickly they sort of got accustomed to how it functioned. Oh, she's back. Everybody quiet. Shh, 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 so she doesn't know we're here. Oh, wait, she can't hear you. Never mind. Hey, I didn't even have to get up. And a can. Not a measure, though. I'm going to have to go get the measure.
Just pour it in.
What am I, some sort of savage? I don't know how to do thing.
That's fine.
Anyway, I was talking about the girls playing. But it's nice not to have to get up. It's a bonus.
Hi.
Hey.
You're saying hi to me. Okay.
Soulmates, how lovely. Is that for her bringing me drinks?
What? Me and you?
Yeah.
You're not my soulmate.
No.
I just put up with you.
My soulmate is Memory Man.
My soulmate is Hathor Beyonce.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know why you're into someone who's so skinny and unmuscular. Just, you know, compared to me, it's just not the same. But yeah. What the fuck were we talking about before you left? Lots of VR talk. But yeah, VR, it's the future, and don't believe people who tell you it's dying because it literally had its best year last year.
Who the fuck is Sheridan Smith?
That sounds very familiar. I'm not looking it up. My soulmate is a duck. You should have said my soulmate is duck.
Mr. Blair should say I instead of you.
Who should say I instead of you? What?
It's not duck, it's dick.
My soulmate is dick. But yeah. God, I can't fucking wait to be actually home. Thinking about this whole setting it up so that we can just... Because for a long time, I've wanted to set myself up to stream from the living room. Because I have always thought it would just be so much fucking easier.
What the fuck, Owly?
What? Ali, you ever wonder about who the soulmates of pedos are? No, I don't.
What the fuck thinks like that? That's really bad.
I mean, that was a question and not a...
Sheridan Smith was in 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps.
Yeah, but was that the really skinny one, or was that the one who was a geezer?
Google. Okay.
All I can ever remember about 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps is the episode where the skinny one is really, really sick, and for some reason his bird has some dog poo in her thing because they've like looked after someone's dog, and he goes,
right, yeah.
Oh, it's a bird. Okay. Anyway, yeah, she's got dog poo in her purse, and he starts digging through it because he's really ill and he's looking for something. He says, "Oh, you bought me dog poo," and he's like really happy about it. For some reason, the smell makes me hungry. And that's the main thing that sticks with me about that. It was a show that always reminded me of one that I cannot remember the fucking name of. But now, if any of you have seen it and can remember what it's called, that'd be fantastic. But there was like... I think there was three main characters. A dude who was massively agoraphobic and wouldn't go outside. A dude who was ginger, and that was his main character feature, and a reasonably attractive bird. And I think they were all flatmates. I cannot remember the name of the show for the life of me, but they had this great thing.
Not Going Out.
Is it called Not Going Out? That
sounds familiar, actually.
Yeah. That was a fucking great show. One of my favorite gags in that was he starts, the guy who's agoraphobic, who won't go outside. I can't remember the exact nature of it, but forgive me if I'm wrong. But essentially, he's talking to this girl, and because I think he like starts working for a charity like Samaritans.
Lee Mack in it.
No, that's not it. That's not it
but
at all.
I have watched this one. It's quite good.
That's not it at all. But the guy, he's talking to this girl. He's like working for Samaritans or something. And she's like, "Oh, I feel really sad. I think I'm going to kill myself," kind of stuff. And he's like, "Shit, I've got to help this girl." And the character's a dickhead, and he's established as a complete dickhead. but you get this real pang of he doesn't want this girl to hurt himself. Yes.
Game on.
Game on. There you go.
Thank you, Philip Yates.
And Vital Spark. He's talking to this girl, and
she is quite fit.
It's funny because
I don't really like blondes, and she's actually quite fit.
The guy, the agoraphobe, he's like sporty, but he doesn't go out. So he's got all this sports equipment in his house. So with this girl who says she's going to kill herself, he's like, I've got to help her. And somehow he finds out where she lives. And when he goes out, he's like got sports armor on, and he takes his surfboard with him for protection, and he takes the bus or something like that to her house. And when he gets there, she's like invited some of her friends around and is having a party because she's a student, I think, or it might be another character comes out later. But after this episode, he ends up with a girlfriend at the end of it. But into the start of the new season, they're like, so whatever happened to your girlfriend? And he gets this look on his face, and she goes, hey, do you want to go out for a drink? Oh, do you want to go out to the bar? Do you want to go out for some food? Do you want to go out? And you just see his face and goes, she was insane.
I think I remember something like that.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
You might have actually shown me it.
I don't think so. But that...
I'm pretty sure you would have, because you showed me some really good films as well.
But that was one of those moments I just so fucking funny. Really sort of settled in with me. It's like almost every show, I barely remember any of it, but there'll be one joke, and it's just like, that's the funniest shit ever. Which is why Spaced is so special, because I remember shitloads of that.
I think that's probably the reason why I love you forever, is because you introduced me to Spaced.
What's the donation rate for timing out Commie? Well, I don't know who Commie is, but I don't know what that sentence even means. I understand his pain. Do you know what? As we grow older, I think anybody who wants to go out all the time probably is insane. But that was a genuinely funny show. I love the character. He was sort of the one you'd love to hate him for the most part, because he hates students, hated gingers, hated going out, and he met this girl who's really attractive, and she was a ginger student, and he couldn't get over it.
Christina, anything and everything, apparently.
Communist in space. Is communist in space even about? But what films have I shown you?
You showed me...
I know I showed you Fear and Loathing. That was good.
Yeah, you showed me Fear and Loathing. You showed me Fish Called Wanda. Oh,
that is such a quality film.
You showed me The Three Heathers. Is that what it's called?
It's called Heathers.
I thought, what's three then?
I think there are three of them.
Oh, right, okay.
Or there might be four. Three baddie ones and one other, maybe. Can't really remember. But I remember it being pretty good. It's got Christian Slater in it.
You showed me Leon.
Oh my God, Leon the Professional. Fuck me. That is a film and a half.
What else have you
Everyone!
Spaceball. You showed me Spaceballs as well.
Spaceballs is so good. Spaceballs is better than Star Wars, fight me.
Because when I first met you, all I ever used to watch is just Studio Ghibli stuff, really. I didn't really care about anything else.
And some Disney crap.
And
even then you didn't really care.
I found out that our favourite films were both Studio Ghibli.
Well, yeah, my favourite film was probably Howl's Moving Castle. That film fucking changed my life. I'd never had a film before that I could just watch and it would make me feel better. Oh, Crank is
you showed me film. Crank as well.
It's not.
I did vaguely recall Snatch, but I didn't watch it properly until you showed me it.
Sit down and fucking watch this film.
Be Cool. You showed me that one.
Get Shorty. I think I would.
Get Shorty and Be Cool. You showed me those.
Those are great.
Do you know she showed me Ocean's 11 and things like that as well?
I
never watched
don't.
them. I never watched it before.
I mean, I might have just vaguely went, "Oh, here's Ocean's 11" because it's something to watch.
Yeah,
I don't really care about Ocean's.
Akira as well. You showed me Akira.
Oh, Akira is a fucking heck of a film.
You went, if you like anime, you have to watch this.
And then you just sit there waiting for.
I knew about Dogma. Me and my sister love Dogma. That's a good one.
I think Dogma was a film you showed me, actually.
It is really good, that one.
It is a very good film. But although I did show you Clerks.
Yeah, you showed me Clerks as well.
Clerks is an odd one to get.
I really liked it. The first time I watched it, I thought, how the hell have I not heard of this? This is amazing.
Yeah. Vampire Hunter D. I remember Vampire Hunter D because there was a game on the PlayStation.
See, you showed me Pulp Fiction as well. Like, people just coming out with really good films, like things I just never really thought about.
If any of you haven't seen it, Chopper is a really good film.
Being John Malkovich, you showed me that.
Oh my god.
Now, Being John Malkovich, because it's got the surreal thing in it. That film, oh my god, I love that so much.
Malkovich. That fucking film, man. That is such, like, the intro to that. Basically, you know whether or not you're going to like this film from the description of the intro. If you have not seen Being John Malkovich, the film starts off, or one of the first scenes is the main character in it is not John Malkovich. He is in it, obviously, but the main character is this guy who does puppet shows.
So just people just quoting.
Yeah. This guy who does puppet shows, and he's doing this really fancy, because he takes it seriously as an art, and the story is like
Sick does not sound like Tim Curry. Come on.
Not really.
No, you do not sound like Tim Curry. One of my all-time favorites is Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I was just thinking, a sweet transvestite.
I watched that like at least 60 times, and you do not sound like it.
From transsexual Transylvania.
You do have elements where, because you thing that you do is you're good at imitating people. Like you'll start quoting a comedian or whatever, and you went, "Do you remember what this is from?" And you'll tell me the joke, and you'll do the mannerisms and the voice of the person, and I'm like, it's
clearly this person.
That's Al Murray.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's Al Murray. That one. And you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. But the Being John Malkovich, again, if you haven't seen it, he starts off and the guy's doing a puppet show, and there's a kid like watching the puppet show, and his dad's like, "Okay, kid," and he's doing something else, and it's clearly this art house film style thing that he's going for. And the characters in it, eventually these puppets, they start grinding up against the wall like in a sexual way. And the dad turns around and is like, "You fucking son of a bitch," and punches the guy in the face. And it's just so perfect. Like, really, really hilarious. But you can sort of feel for the character.
You show me Priscilla,
Queen of the Desert.
Yeah, you showed me that one as well. I love that. Film. That is such a good film.
Oh, the ping pong.
Yeah.
If you've ever heard about ping pong balls and vagina and don't know where it's from, that's where it's from. I am desperate for a week. Talk about films. You like films?
I do like.
I want Mrs. Sick to start.
Oh, Blade Runner. Yeah, I watched Blade Runner with you as well.
Did you? Because I don't know.
I heard of it from my mum, obviously, but I did. I got it from you. We watched loads of films, especially 80s things together. We tend to watch. Being John is great when John goes into the John hole. Like, what would you guys say anyway was one of your favorite remakes of the like 80s type films then? Freaked. That rings a bell, actually. Let me have a look. Because I really like I was really cautious about Judge Dredd, and that ended up being quite good. Freaked. No, that doesn't look familiar. Might have to be added to the list of weird things that I watch. Yeah, Logan's Runs is a classic though, isn't it? There's no good remakes. Yeah, Shawshank Redemption. I watched that on my own. I used to get insomnia as a kid sometimes, and my mum just said, "Oh, watch a boring film that'll put you to sleep."
Watch the whole thing.
And I looked, and I was like, "Oh, Shawshank Redemption looks boring. I'll watch that." And I watched it. I was like, "That's really good." Demolition Man. I've watched that so many times as a kid, and I wasn't allowed to watch it on my own. I always watched it with my dad. The whole the pencil thing where he puts the pencil through the guy's eye.
Sorry, what?
In Demolition Man.
I know Demolition Man, and I can barely remember it.
There's a bit in it where he puts pencil through the
Wesley Snipes, isn't it?
He puts pencil through the guy's eye in it and takes the guy's eyeball. And my dad always covered my eyes up when I was a kid with that bit.
Yeah, what he really meant was, I don't like this bit.
He shielded me from violent things, right? But then I'll go home and watch really, really gory shit. So it just didn't really fan out. Green Mile's a good one as well, yeah.
Sweeney Todd, if you like musicals. A musical I really, really like is Moulin Rouge.
I like Mulan. That's a musical.
I know you like Mulan. But Moulin Rouge.
Fifth Element. I love that one.
Oh my God, that is a fucking film. But Moulin Rouge, I went through a phase when I was about sort of 17, 18 of trying to expand my horizons in terms of films. And Moulin Rouge was one of the first ones I watched. And I only watched it because I found out that one of the songs in it, and it's a tiny, weeny little bit, but it's in the film. There's a huge group of men all singing "Here We Are Now, Entertain Us," because I really like Nirvana.
Multipass.
Lilo Dallas Multipass. And a lot of people say Moulin Rouge is a bit shit. It is and it isn't. It's not a good film, but it is a lot of fun.
I haven't seen Moana yet.
We haven't seen Moana. It's one of those we've meant to. One of the problems is that since we started having, more money than absolutely no money, we tended to actually buy things. And so, but we don't have a DVD player, so we've not bought DVDs. Or I guess we do with the PlayStation. But...
Hi, odd job. There's always homoerotica in the Sixth Stream. Welcome.
What kind of homosexuality is going on here? We're talking about films, and I'm talking about a film I like, which is Moulin Rouge. I know. Shut up. Also, Chicago was of a similar time. That was really good. Have you seen that?
I don't think I've seen that.
It's really good. There was a point at which...
When you do that again, we used to sit and you just oh yeah, we're going to watch this film now. But we don't really do that anymore.
No. I think with that, though, there was a point at which I thought, I don't like musicals.
Yeah, I've always been like that as well. It annoys me when people just randomly burst into song. It pisses me off. But Moulin Rouge is probably one of the only ones where I can actually tolerate it.
Well, Moulin Rouge is music that happens to be in a film.
Face Off.
Oh my God, Face Off, the one where they take their face off, like in Face Off. I do really like that film. And it's so memey.
Burn After Reading.
Or,
you showed me that one as well.
Well, I didn't show you that one. We got that one together.
Did we? All right.
Yeah. That was when we still had limited internet.
I don't do flash mobs, no.
That was when we had limited internet. But I worked for a local company who had internet, and they needed me to use my laptop. So I would just line up a bunch of.
Oh yeah, I forgot you did that.
Well, because no one else really used the internet there, so I was like, "Fuck it," and I would just download movies all day. That was probably the best thing about that job, and the thing that saved us the most money, because we didn't have to spare 15 gigabytes of internet. Because that's one of the things you do when you have really limited internet, is you spend it.
Alien. Right. Speaking of this, right? What I've been talking about, you know, the whole thing of saying like, oh, strong female characters and stuff in films and in games and things. It's one of those things, when you get a strong female character, they're usually tomboys or quite masculine, and you never really get a very feminized badass woman. And it's sort of like a craving that I have to see. It's like, it'd be really good to have a very feminized woman who's also can kick ass really well. And you were playing
Resi 2 remake.
Yeah, the remake. And
you're into Ada 1.
Ada wearing the red dress, and she's a badass. And I was just sort of like, finally, an actual feminine character who's a badass. They're so rare, and it's like, you need to make more characters like that.
In terms of the, although I know some of you are going to be like, well, you didn't do it properly. I've beaten Leon's first A campaign. I did it on assisted mode because I just cannot handle the fucking stress. But I got past it. Stupid thing about that game is when Mr. X shows up, I didn't get hit by him once in the police station. It wasn't until you were stuck in corridors with him, and even then, I only got hit by him as Ada.
Like I wouldn't class Buffy though, because Buffy she's not particularly. She's quite bland. Like she's not hyper feminized and also a badass.
Yahtzee put it best.
She just happens to be a woman who's a badass.
Joss Whedon writes ditzes and badasses, and occasionally ditzy badasses, which is what Buffy is. Like, I don't hate Buffy the Vampire. Like, there's some enjoyable. I love Angel though, because I'm a sexist.
Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde.
A feminine badass character.
Ultraviolet. I remember Ultraviolet. Oh, Steve Jobs is great. He's my favourite feminine badass.
Oh yeah, that last from Underworld, I suppose. But then again, it's sort of like, yeah, it's unusual to see someone who is very girly and sort of like.
The first I'm just thinking of the Underworld films, and like the first one was pretty good.
Yeah,
and then they more and more just tried too fucking hard.
I liked the first one. I didn't really rate the second one.
Yeah. What's that one? Night Watch.
Battlestar Galactica has a place in my heart. I love that one.
That's not on Netflix anymore, is it?
No, it's sad.
I watched some of that and it was pretty good.
It's really good. I watched it all. I binge watched it in like 4 days.
Yeah. Sorry, hate my space bar. Apparently.
Tank Girl, that is a good one. She's quite feminine.
Well, that's a comic, but there's like
but it's still a feminized character who's a badass.
Who was Tits from Baywatch?
Pamela Anderson.
I think she played Tank Girl at some point in a film.
I can see
in
that,
a bad
actually.
film. I don't think the film. I could be wrong.
You ever get women who they see it's like, oh well, this is a really, they get like, this is just a woman in a tight suit type things, and I don't really see that as feminine. It's just a woman in a tight suit. Yeah,
that's not being in a tight suit is not femininity.
No,
femininity is very much a thing.
It's being girly. Like, what's that game that you played? Lollipop
Chainsaw.
Yeah, she's really girly in a badass.
She's ridiculously girly and a little bit over sexualized, but to such a ridiculous degree that it becomes parody and clear parody. That's an interesting game. It's not very fun, unfortunately, but it could have been. It could have been great. but I didn't get much out of
A
that.
squad of fots. Fot squad.
Barbed wire. Barbed wire, that's it. It wasn't Tank Girl, it was barbed wire. Well done. See, I like the fact that people
can correct us so we don't have to look it up. It's
Yeah.
great.
But the fact that they know what we're talking about as well. But who played? There was a film with Tank Girl in it. I'm sure.
I understand that. Yeah, like femininity is like someone who is very feminine wouldn't really put themselves in a place where they would be hard hitting badasses. That's why I like it, because it's such a juxtaposition type thing.
To me, it sounds like you're just being sexist. Honestly.
Because most of the badasses see is like they tend to be women who are quite masculine, or like
Sucker Punch is the worst film ever. We couldn't fucking finish it.
It's boring.
It's so glitzy and it looks like it should be fun just for the visual style, and it's so goddamn boring.
The visuals are fantastic in it.
Unbelievably good. They might be shit by now. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well,
they were very pretty at the time.
Yeah, but just watching it, the dialogue between the characters and anything that I didn't give a shit about anything.
I don't think we got past the second fight scene before we were so fucking bored.
I can't remember anything that anybody talked about in that.
We didn't finish it, did we?
No, we didn't finish it. We got bored of it.
That film is worse than Biodome.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Biodome is. Oh no. Biodome is cringe to go through. It is painful to go through. I'd rather be bored than in pain.
No. See, what you don't understand is, at least Biodome made me feel things.
Oh, what?
Even if it was cringe. What was it called again? Sucker Punch made me feel nothing. I felt nothing for 20 goddamn minutes of that film. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
We watched way more than that.
Whatever, but I felt like I was in a void of nothingness.
People made such a big deal out of it as well.
Or at least Biodome is a fucking goddamn awful, terrible film, and not even good, bad, just bad, and very, very cringe, and just But at least it annoyed me, where Sucker Punch just did nothing. It was fucking awful. They had
such a good concept as well. That's the thing, and they just fucked it up.
There was a lot. It had so much going for it, and I don't know how they fucked it up so badly. But fuck me, amazing. It might as well have been made by Uwe Boll. Fuck.
What was the worst film ever?
I mean, to me, it is a toss up between. Sucker Punch is something that really comes to mind when I think of films I really didn't like. Disappointing films. Here's a more interesting.
I think I can sit there and I can watch crap for hours and hours and hours, like meaningless shit. Like I watched a Korean sitcom thing about people who ran a bra shop. And I watched multiple episodes of that on Netflix. And I was just sort of like, oh no, they're not going to get to the fashion show on time. I actually got invested in it, even slightly. And I was just at the end of it, I was like, why the hell did I watch this?
I liked Alien vs. Predator, even the second one, even though they are bad. Old Boy's supposed to be good, isn't it?
Old Boy is supposed to be good.
But what I was going to say is, like, I don't know. Bad films aren't that interesting. What?
Freddy got fingered. No, because there's just for the reason there's one thing in it that gets me every fucking time is when he's got his fingers attached to loads of sausages hanging from the ceiling and he's playing on the keyboard and his dad walks in and he goes, Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? And all the sausages are wiggling. And I was like, oh my fucking God, it's so stupid. Everything else in the film I didn't really care about.
I might have to steal that and put that in a video.
But just that bit is fucking amazing.
So sick. I now have no love for you. I will leave and unsolved. Sorry, what did I say? What I was going to say, disappointing films is something that is more interesting to me. the most disappointing film I can think of, film that I thought, oh my God, they've made a new film. Really, really happy, which is a Studio Ghibli. They're one of my favorite things. But Tales from Earthsea.
Oh, that was boring, yeah.
It's boring with a few sparks of brilliance and like a pretty good ending. But I've watched it twice, and I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Keeping in mind, though, right? This is what Illuminous Poos has said. Keeping in mind, Twilight is aimed at preteen, teeny, boppy type girls.
Right.
So you've got to sort of put yourself in that position of who it's aimed at, of watching. Like, when I watched it, I was like, okay, go back to when I was maybe like 12, 13, 14 watching it. I might have been into it. But then as soon as he started sparkling, I was like, no, this is bullshit. It
doesn't matter. Okay, a good film should be good regardless of quote unquote who it's aimed at. Now, I never watched the Harry Potter films until we lived in the firehouse. Because I was like, the Harry Potter, I'm not going to enjoy that. That's going to be bullshit.
We watched one together.
We watched the first one and it was pretty okay.
And you liked it.
I thought it was pretty okay.
You went on to watch all the rest of them by yourself.
No, we watched the first one and I was like, okay, that was pretty okay. The kids are shit actors, but they're kids. But it's pretty well made and it was entertaining. And so we watched the second one. I was like,
oh, it's past midnight, so let's try and be lit.
But I watched the second one. I was like, okay, that was actually pretty decent. And then I just binged them all. I was like, huh. Apparently, I like Harry Potter films now. I ain't reading the books. Fuck that noise.
Oh, eight-legged freaks and stuck a fat one. No,
that's not. I know it's spiders, but it's not like.
Oh, no, I can't do it. I struggle watching like.
Oh, Evolution. I was thinking of that.
Evolution is really good, actually.
When someone said eight-legged freaks. Oh, my God. Street Fighter movie.
Dragon Ball Z movie.
Dragon Ball Z Evolution. We don't mention that film. That film doesn't exist. I'm off now. Night, night. And you want to unsub from me. I want to unsub from you. I like Evolution.
Paranormal Activity. What was the thing?
What normal activity? The dog going, I need a poo. Or give me some food. Normal activity. 28 Days Later is an excellent fucking film.
Yeah.
That is
one thing I noticed about zombie films, I know it's sort of basically just sort of like a cliche type thing. And I understand why people do it because it works out for the best in terms of survival, but they always end up in like a shopping mall. And it's just sort of like, oh, look, another shopping centre, amazing.
That was something I was going to say. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on stream before, but you were talking about watching a film to get you to sleep, and it made me...
I watched Remember the Titans to put me to sleep, and I got really engaged in it. And I was like, fuck you!
Stop watching films to put you to sleep.
Stop watching...
It's games that put you to sleep.
It looked like it was really boring, so I watched it, and it was good.
But... Which... Is it Dawn of the Dead is the first Romero film, which is in a mansion. My brain just did not want me to get. I was like hospital, fire station. It's like fuck's sake. And then I think it's Day of the Dead is in the mall. Whatever it is, the one in the mall. And I watched that at like 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's a really good film. And it was one of those things, like, I never considered myself particularly into horror movies. But I realized that a horror movie with a good plot is often just very, very entertaining. Like, they have plots that other films don't. There's something about it. And, yeah, I watched that through. And I was probably 14 or 15 at the time. And so now it's 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Very, very tired. Just watched a pretty gruesome film that has its moments of scariness. even if that shit doesn't really get to, or didn't get to me at the time, now it apparently does because broken. But yeah, I then start hearing this noise. You know, I've stopped watching the film. And I just hear, "Ooh." I'm like, what the fuck is that? Ooh, this thing that sounds like a drill. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like someone is drilling into our house. I start fucking. That's probably. I think that's the first time I ever remember getting really, really anxious. Was that night, and I was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is going on?" And I'm a kid. I'm too fucking scared to move. And then I eventually get up the courage to look outside, and there's a fucking milk truck. And the milk trucks have electric engines, but these really, really old electric engines. Milk deliveries, that's fucking old school. But yeah, the noise they make, and they deliver quite early in the morning so that people have the milk as they get up for work. I've never been more fucking terrified in my life. Dawn of the Dead was in the Day of the Dead was the last one. Oh, okay. But yeah, the one in the Mall. I had some moments with the Blair Witch Project. I can get that. Like the Blair Witch Project was interesting.
It was one of those things. It was one of the ones where it was one of the first type of films that did a POV type thing. And
found footage.
Yeah, found footage type thing. And it was sort of like, it was unusual to see anything like that.
It's more fun.
And it made you question. It started making you question, like, like the way they promoted it and planned it out and showed it and everything. It made you question if it was real or not.
There's lots of stuff I like. Like I like the making of that film, like because basically the film crew, when they weren't filming anything, they would actually leave the actors alone in the woods at night, and then they would deliberately fuck with them because they wanted to put them on edge. So I always enjoyed that. But what I really enjoyed, there's a comedian called Phil Dupatis. He's quite a big guy, but he had a stand-up routine, and it has one of my favorite descriptions of anything ever, which is, here's my short dramatization of the Blair Witch Project. And he walks across the stage and he goes, "Oh, it's really interesting. We're going to go and find out about this witch." And then he exits stage and he comes back and says, "Oh, some weird shit's been going on. It's a bit spooky out here." And then he comes back and goes, "I'm really scared now. Everything's going on." And he gets across here. And then he just runs across the stage. Bonks himself on the head with a microphone and falls down. That's the Blair Witch Project. And it's about perfect. But then they tried the sequel to it was bollocks.
Yeah,
because it was a film.
It lost its edge after that.
Well, it wasn't even that. The sequel to it was just a film.
Yeah.
I was like, who gives a shit? Like and
it was really badly acted, if I remember.
The Blair Witch Project was interesting, but anything else you try to do with it, you just fuck it up. That's the kind of thing. And I think the best horror is done on a budget. Although you can make a high...
Yeah, like you can only... type of things that you can only watch once type thing.
Yeah, true. But
like a Paranormal Activity tried to do that, but like it just... I watched the first one and I felt cheated because 90% of it, nothing fucking happens. It's just... Yeah, and it's just like... Occasionally you see something slightly move and then it'll go like, oh, like all the cupboards have opened and shit like that, and I'm like, okay.
The Lord of the Rings.
I don't know. Maybe I'm so fucking desensitized to horror films. I was sat there going, oh wow, spooky, boring. And I felt like I was cheated out of a good film.
Blair Witch Project actually becomes a lot better if you've had the theory that it was all staged by the two guys to murder the girl in the woods.
Oh wow, yeah.
That would be kind of fucked up, but doubtful. Doubtful. The more Cersic drinks, the more he sounds like Michael McIntyre. No, I don't sound like Michael McIntyre.
No, Mike McIntyre is well posh.
Also, Michael McIntyre is fucking terrible when he's on a quiz show.
He just he sits there quiet, not saying anything for ages, doesn't
and then
he?
will say something from his stand-up.
Yeah, he'll quote things from his stand-up. I'm just like, okay.
Like his stand-up, he has some solid jokes. Like he has some really solid jokes, and he can be very, very funny. But he is fucking terrible off script. To the point at which he isn't even off script, and he becomes annoying. I can't stand him on TV shows, but I have enjoyed some of his stand-up. Sick and Mrs. Six movies reviews, best movie reviews on YouTube. I was going, oh, that film was quality. Yeah, that film's good. I don't like that one that much. It's all right. That's it.
No, we're
Mr. and Mrs. Sick movie review. We go see a movie. It's all right. Finish the streak.
Like, we're quite big movie buffs, really. It's just we haven't spent a lot of time watching them together, have we?
Michael McIntyre is horrifically unfunny.
Oh.
It's literally horrifying.
Like my sister, she's obsessed with. Oh, he's so funny. He's amazing. She's bought his book and everything. And when I was in hospital after the C-section with the kids, I got you something to keep you entertained. And she brought me a Michael McIntyre book.
Was it terrible?
And I was like, I read like 2 pages of it. I went, oh, God, no, thank you. Oh, it just like, it just felt like he was trying way too fucking hard to be funny. And it's just, no, I don't do things.
I Am Legend? Questionmark.
But I Am Legend is a good film.
Excuse me, that's a dog dying film, and that means we can't watch it.
Oh my God, I was bawling.
See, you know the pain. Fucking Futurama. Poor Seymour.
It's the thing though, like it was really good. Like like he's his only friend in this vast sea of nothingness.
And then he has to get
Yeah, and it's just like no.
He has to.
It's really heartfelt.
Billy Connolly is a fucking god. He's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah, he's quite ill, I think.
Oh God. I started dyeing my beard because of him.
Oh, that's why you did it. Okay.
Yeah, because he would dye his beard, and I had a man boner.
You had a little beard back then as well.
My soul patch. I missed my soul patch. It was a good look.
Yeah, but that means you have to shave if you want it back.
Yeah, God, fuck that noise.
Yeah, exactly.
Christ, I hate shaving so much. Oh, I mean, I don't like the fact that my beard likes to try and reach into my mouth, but it's a lot less strenuous than fucking
he's
shaving.
76 years old.
Jesus.
Yep.
Isn't this? Oh, she was quite fit. Like, she's probably a bit old now. But I remember her being a bit of a looker in her.
Well, he's had 2 wives.
2 wives? Fucking hell. Why?
Pamela or Iris?
Frankie Boyle describing Brexit as let's all enjoy the last year of running water. I don't really talk about Brexit because it's just 2 groups of people having extremely unrelated opinions about things that are probably to 90% of people. Brexit means absolutely fucking nothing.
Oh my God.
And they're just 2%, 2 groups of 5% of the nation going completely fucking apeshit at each other.
Sorry, I'm just getting into what I'm reading about. He said that
Will you read that and I can have a wee?
He said that his Billy Connolly's ex-wife, she died, and he scattered her ashes in a river. He married someone else as well called Pamela. I don't know, 6, when he says, "Oh, she's quite attractive," it's difficult to gauge because he always picks flaws in everybody he ever sees a picture of. Right, I really should wear my glasses for this, but okay. Billy's the only person that to die in the Muppet movie. Oh yeah. Had to go to dinner, so I may have missed the answer to this. When are you doing spirit science and magic crystals? I have mentioned this to him actually, and he's on about looking for content for his videos and stuff, and I was saying like, you still got your spirit science stuff that you need to do. And he's like, oh, I'll get round to it. But yeah, I think if I badger him enough, it should happen. Blind Purim, Muppet Treasure Island. I barely remember anything to do with the Muppets. I think it's slightly out of my age group. Either that or I just thought it was for kids when I was a particular age. I've never seen a good movie based on H.P. Lovecraft. Please don't slam the doors. Thank you.
That wasn't a slam, that was a shut.
I'll shut it quietly.
I'll shut your mum.
Have you ever seen a movie, a good movie based on H.P. Lovecraft?
I mean, based on directly, no.
It's a shame, really, because they're quite iconic books, aren't they?
One of the issues with the Lovecraftian stuff is that a lot of the time they go way too into detail. Like the whole point of Lovecraft stuff is that these creatures are unknowable, but half the time,
get off the box. It's not yours.
You know, they make it so. It's the same with the games and stuff. Is that you end up fighting Cthulhu? Like that is something that makes any fucking sense as a thing you could do.
Oh, she wants to scratch.
You might as well fight the planet.
Come on.
As much sense as that would make, you know. I mean, the Earth doesn't give a shit about what you do, and largely what you do to it. I mean, there's no. I don't think there's anything we could ever do within multiple generations that would have any impact on this planet in terms of it existing as a ball of rock. And that's how you sort of have to think about things like Lovecraftian dealy bobs. But when they ever take them into fiction, it's just always like, oh, here's Gununga Gap. And I know that's actually fucking Norse, but fuck off. I'm just trying to think of a name of
one of your favorite words, that's why.
Too. And we're going to go fight him. And oh, he's this very, very understandable, relatable monster. And he's got a wife and shit like that. And we can destroy him with this special pendant that some fuckers made years ago. It's like, no. It's supposed to drive you crazy, and you're not supposed to get it, and shit just happens to you.
You explained to me, because I'm not read any H.P. Lovecraft. I know of it, obviously, but you explained to me about Cthulhu basically being like how ants would view humans. Like, they don't really pay any attention. We're so big compared to them that they do not see us, like we are beyond their comprehension type thing.
An ant will walk across you
and think it's walking on a field.
Yeah. And you would see an ant and squish it as an annoyance and not care a jot about it because it's a fucking ant. You just like you might not even know that irritation that's crawling across your skin is a living creature.
Yeah.
You just scratch and it's gone. You know, that's the comparison and beyond. I mean, the end of one of the books is them taking a boat and ramming it into Cthulhu, and Cthulhu doesn't notice because Cthulhu is Cthulhu. And the idea is that, you know, it's just this unknowable, and that's the point. You're not supposed. Every time you try and explain it,
it's hard to put something like that into film form.
Yeah.
Without it's not really much of an action scene when the biggest sort of like bad guy is not even paying any attention.
I think you could make a good film, but you just have to be. It couldn't be about.
You couldn't go
the monsters.
You couldn't go like the traditional route of making it into an action film, human versus the enemy, monster enemy type thing. You couldn't do that. You'd have to make it into like a surreal type film in order to actually translate.
Lost internet, now on phone. What I miss? Nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. Never miss anything. That's the point. Ghostbusters fought Cthulhu in the cartoon and won. Best episode of real Ghostbusters ever. Fuck's sake. Somebody wrote a book where Cthulhu meets Twilight. Cthulhu takes on the form of a teenager and falls in love with a human. The best version of Cthulhu is from Cthulhu Saves the World, which is a Steam game where Cthulhu, something happens to him and he becomes sort of human-sized. And one of the curse words is Cthulhu Fatagan, which is quite good. And he just goes on all the time about how he doesn't give a shit about what's going on. Oh man, I seem to recall you have to change an option in that game, otherwise the game literally won't work, and it's something like turn on skeletons or something like that. Oh. If you want to have someone defeat Cthulhu, just having a talk with a feminist for 5 minutes. I mean, he wouldn't care about them. He wouldn't care about anybody's problems. That's the point. The only Lovecraft film that I'm aware of that's any good is Reanimator. I think I've heard of that. I don't know anything about it. And Mrs. Hick pulls out her phone. Here we go. We've got the shit. She's got the shit. But
no, I'm not doing that. I'm on Twitter.
She lies. She likes to lie. Typical bloody woman.
I'm just seeing if it looks familiar, that's all.
The name reminds me of something. But yeah, the problem with most media related to Lovecraftian things is that they make something that you can comprehend, and the whole point is incomprehensibility. Any Cthulhu movie would have to be an artsy-fartsy, surrealist kind of thing where Cthulhu wins because no one beats Cthulhu. Essentially, yeah. That's the point. You're not supposed to get it. It's supposed to be something beyond a mortal's ken. And even... I mean... No, because if you made... I'm thinking like you could make something that's not about humans and is just about the creatures, but even then...
You'd just be Cthulhu hanging around in the sea.
You're just making them... The whole point is not to humanize them, and the only way that you can sort of... You watch things and you relate to them in some sense, and the whole point of that mythos is to not relate to them. The whole point is to make you feel like this thing is very alien. And that's how you make good Lovecraftian things, is you make something that you just look at it and you go, what the fuck? And you don't explain things. And you don't make it obvious as to what anything fucking means. And that's...
It wouldn't really translate well into movie terms, really. It'd be very difficult. It would take, like, someone who is very well versed in Lovecraftian lore and everything in order to pull something off like that. I think you
could, but it just wouldn't be about any of the creatures.
And
It would be about
If
atmosphere.
if they're wanting to make it sell as well, it might be difficult. She was being a dick, so I put her outside the living room.
And then, of course, she comes back and bees a dick. We need a good Hellraiser remake or soft reboot. Prometheus. I've not seen Prometheus. That's the Alien sort of start-off prequel type thing. No one beats madness. That's the point of Cthulhu. Exactly. To gaze upon Cthulhu is to gaze upon madness. It's the sort of thing.
Oh, right, it's 1 o'clock. What do you want to do?
What do I want to do? Has this been an extra long one then?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it is. The kids are off school for the next week, so it's not a huge deal. But if you're ready for bed, then I'll tell these poor people.
I'm not ready for bed.
You're ready for Claire campaign. Is that what you're saying?
I want games. Play games for me.
Play a game. Yeah. All right. Since Mrs. Sick is evil and wants to take me away from you, poor people.
Batman versus Cthulhu.
Batman. Well, wait. Who wins then? Because Batman always wins. But then you can't beat Cthulhu. But Batman always wins.
It'd just be a stalemate. It'd be a really boring film.
Or it would be the best film ever.
What do you want, you ginger shit?
I mean, I always like the death battle of Chuck Norris version. Oh, thank you, Static MM, for the time zone.
My little
Yes,
I know. Yeah.
Shotaro Shanzo or something like that. The mascot for the Sega Saturn versus Chuck Norris, because they both have ridiculous feats, so they just fight until the universe is destroyed. Anyway, yeah. Hello, Kit Kat. You proper leapt at me. We're going to go play games. Probably not Cthulhu games. Maybe a scary game. But thank you for coming. Hope you enjoyed this week's video. I thought it was pretty okay. And hopefully we will see you next time. Cthulhu versus Zulus. Now on Sci-Fi Channel. Cthulhu versus Zulus, for fuck's sake. Is it time to bugger off? Yeah, I'm going to go. Thank you all for coming, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.